The African Cinderella, Kehinde's story of fireflies, betrayal, and magic. Before there was Cinderella and her glass slipper, Africa had Kehinde. No pumpkin carriages. No fairy godmothers. Just a girl with scars, fireflies in a calabash, and a truth that no one expected. This is her story, and it's way better. In a quiet village by the River of Stars, a baby was born during a blood moon. They named her Kehinde, a twin, though her brother died minutes after birth. Her mother wept as she sang her final lullaby. By the time Kehinde was 10, both her parents had passed. The aunt who took her in had 2 daughters, smooth-skinned and loud-laughed, but she swept the compound, cooked the ugali, slept beside goats, and every night she would stare at the sky, whispering her mother's songs to the stars. One day, she found her mother's riddle book, hidden beneath a broken stool. She read it by firelight, the only thing she had to call her own. In the palace, grief had settled like dust. The young Prince Oba had lost his twin sister to a mysterious illness. Since then, no smile touched his lips. His father, the king, was desperate. "Let joy return to this household," he declared. But Oba didn't want a wife chosen by politics. He wanted someone who understood depth, so he created the Riddle Festival. "Solve 3 riddles of the mind and spirit," he announced, "and you will have one dance with the prince. Win his heart, and the crown is yours." Kehinde begged her aunt to let her attend. They laughed in her face. "You can't even afford shoes," they sneered. But early the next morning, Kehinde set out on foot. Her only possession, her mother's riddle book, wrapped in cloth. On the road, she met an old woman selling mangoes. The woman's hands were worn, but her eyes were bright. "Trade?" she asked. Kehinde had no coins, but she offered her only headscarf. The woman nodded and handed her a small calabash filled with glowing fireflies. "They will guide you in darkness," she said, then vanished. The palace courtyard was full of silk dresses and golden sandals. Kehinde walked in, barefoot, her fireflies glowing faintly in her hands. The first riddle echoed, "What lives but has no breath, and dies when touched by wind?" Contestants muttered fish, feitu. Silence. All wrong. Kehinde stepped forward. "A shadow," she said. Her fireflies blinked once. "Correct?" Second riddle. "I rise but do not walk. I sing but have no tongue." More guesses. "All wrong," Kehinde whispered. "Smoke?" Fireflies blinked again. Final riddle. "Break me and I heal you. Keep me and I destroy you." Even the prince paused. No one answered. Kehinde did, pride. The fireflies danced. The courtyard was silent. Until a voice hissed, "She's a fraud." It was her aunt, dragging her own daughters forward. "She's an orphan. She has no name. She swept my compound like a servant." Murmurs swept through the crowd. Kehinde stood still, eyes locked on Oba. Would he banish her? Oba slowly walked to her, then removed his royal robe and placed it on her shoulders. "You solved what no one else could. And you saw me," he said. "Not the prince but the boy who lost his sister." Kehinde didn't marry him that night. She studied with the palace sages, taught orphans to read, turned the garden into a space for fireflies to gather. Years passed, and one night, Oba walked beside her in that glowing garden. "You're not just my bride," he said. "You're my riddle." And my answer? They wed under the stars. And as they kissed, one final firefly escaped her calabash and flew upward, leaving a glowing trail in the sky. Some say that firefly became a star. Cinderella had a slipper. Kehinde had fireflies, riddles, and a soul that couldn't be bought. If this story touched your hearts, subscribe, share, and drop A in the comments if you believe in stories that honor our roots.